You are now listening or maybe watching, because I'm putting these on YouTube now, the Claim It podcast with me, Trisha Huffman, your joyologist. On this podcast, whether I'm having a conversation with someone who intrigues and inspires me, or it's a solo reflection episode like this one today, my goal is for you to feel a little bit less alone on this wild journey of being human. I hope to give you some new and different perspectives, or to remember some you may already have but have forgotten, because we are humans and we forget, but we can remember. I hope that you give yourself a shit ton more compassion for yourself and for being human on this earth and all of the shoulds and noise that comes at us from within us and from the world on a daily basis. My hope is that you lock into deep inner confidence and self-trust so that you are lit up by who you are, what you're doing, and how you are doing it. And that you stop judging yourself and stealing joy from what does do those things for you. We make life so much harder than it needs to be. And I don't want that for you. On today's episode, I have been taking some notes of some things that have come up for my kids. My kids just graduated or completed kindergarten and first grade. So the youngest finished kindergarten, the oldest finished first grade. So, we're pretty early on to the learning about the friendships and when people aren't kind and, just sorting things out. I mean, it starts earlier than that, but, being in elementary school, more things happening. Anyway, so them, just also how they interact with each other, being close in age and all of that. So I wanted to share these tips with you that, sure, you can take them for your kids or kids too, but I think that these are tips that humans of all ages can really use. So I'm sharing them with you today for you to take to heart in your own way. So the first one I'm going to share with you is that I share with them, think about how it feels better to encourage and compliment other people rather than to attack, criticize, judge, and come from this place of I'm better. So this I would notice, when my kids are even have friends over to play, the kids that they love, but there's sort of this competition things that come up. And then also while they're playing with each other, where one can be like, oh, well, you don't do that right. Well, blah, blah, blah. I can feel in them that there's this sense of they're kind of attacking the person with the words, trying to take them down in some way. And what I make up is going on is that, first of all, they're hurt for some reason too, emotionally hurt. The kid that's doing the attacking, that perhaps, they're afraid for that person to be able to do the thing that they can do, or they want some acknowledgement or something, right? So somebody's excited, perhaps my youngest is look, Mom, I can do this, or telling me a math problem she learned or something. And then the other ones, well, you don't know, blah, blah, blah. Well, I know more than that, some sort of thing like that. And again, first of all, I always try to come back to compassion for myself and for others. So not what's wrong with you? You're wrong. I can't believe you're talking like that, right? So whether this is a thought we're having ourselves when we notice ourselves go into comparison, or, well, I've done that before. Oh, well, I know better than that. Well, blah, blah, blah. Or one of my kids or somebody out in the world is to remember something else is going on, right? So one thing I try to remind them is just because oftentimes they don't know. It's not oh, well, what's going on with you that's making you feel this way that you want to that, right? It's obviously they might be hurt in some way or wanting to have some attention. So they don't know that. But so I just say to them, hey, just think about how much better it feels if you were to say good job. Oh, that's so great that you can do that. To acknowledge that person, to encourage that person, to compliment that person, instead of trying to take them back down or say I'm better or something like that. So that's something they can actually tune into and realize is oh yeah, it actually doesn't feel that good when I'm saying, well, I can do that too. Well, I can do that better. Well, I can do this. when they actually, I'm just like, just notice. So as I'm saying this, I'm realizing myself that I am learning much more about or that I'm having them tune into, how does it feel? How does that feel in your body? I got a little distracted there because I realized my other recording device is not recording, but we are carrying on and depending on this recording device. Anyway, so how does that feel? So that's something as an adult, right? We can jump to, say you see something on social media. They get that again. They got asked to do that. They get this. What about me? I've worked so hard, or I'm better, or my blah, blah, blah is better, or I know more, or I've been doing this longer. Again, have compassion for yourself. Okay, that's natural to have these feelings of comparison, of envy, of wanting to be seen and acknowledge ourselves come up. And so again, just leaning in as adult, I think we are easier to be like, oh, what's going on here? Oh, okay. I am feeling envy because of this. And I, like, especially in my book, walk you through the steps. What am I feeling? What's happening? Oh, this is envy. Oh, this is judgment. Okay. What's going on? Oh, because they have something I want or I'm worthy of. Great. So I can see that as proof that it's possible. I can acknowledge them instead of. So I go through all these different sort of scenarios in my book, but like, as an adult, we can look at more of like, oh, I'm feeling this. But again, just thinking of that, this doesn't actually feel good. This doesn't feel good in my body, in my mind, in my heart, to be like tearing that person down, to be upset. You're not tearing them. And again, you might not be tearing them down like you're writing them rude comments or anything, but just in your head, like, I'm better than them, this, that, whatever. This doesn't feel good to me. It would feel better to say, you know what, good for them. You know what, their win doesn't take away from me or what I'm capable of or possible of. So what does that feel like? It feels so much better to compliment someone, to acknowledge someone, to encourage someone, even if they have something you want. It feels better. And I think in some way we're like, karmically putting that out into the world too, right? If you are celebrating someone and acknowledging them, I do feel like that's going to come more back around rather than you just sitting into, why do they have all the things and I don't yet? Or how dare they? It feels better. So that was number one. Number two, in this, I heard, I'm going to say something that I do with my kids later. So this came up when my older one was acknowledging the younger one for like, I love how, somebody can make fun of your outfit and it doesn't bother you. You're just like, yeah, well, who cares? I like this. So I guess what had happened is one day someone on the playground or something came up to my younger daughter, and they've been dressing themselves since they were like 2. I will try to, like, we're going to a special event or a party, like, oh, are you sure you want to wear that? What about something like this? Whatever. And I can sometimes try to like remind them, hey, we're meant to be a little bit dressier or this, but so mismatched all the time. Whatever, especially the younger one can add like a dress on top of a dress, has some flair with it. I don't know what day it was that she was wearing, but I guess some boy came up to her and made fun of her for you're wearing that with that or something. And Arrow was just like, yeah, I like it. So who cares if I like it. So as they were retelling the story, and I was like, oh, good for you. Like that is so great. Good job, Zia, for acknowledging her for that. That is a really great quality to have. And she didn't like get upset with the person or try to tear them down or anything. She was like, yeah, I like this outfit. So who cares if you don't like it? And so then I talked to them more about that. And I'm like, when somebody does make fun of you or say something hurtful, it usually doesn't have anything to do with you. It's something like they're not feeling good about themselves or they're hurt. Maybe that person made fun of you because, they can't dress themselves and choose stuff. They wouldn't be allowed to wear something like that. Or just, like it's just not what they're used to seeing. So you don't have to take it personally when someone's saying things about you. It really a lot of times isn't about you, and it might be because like they're hurting. So if someone is judging you, if someone is teasing you, to remind yourself it's not about you. And I also said, I was like, yeah, what you said is great, and if somebody was teasing you for something, what you could also do? You can respond like with kindness and even give them a compliment. Because a lot of times when people are in that space where they're making fun of you or they're unhappy, if you get upset, that's what sort of more like eggs them on. But if you respond neutrally, which she kind of did, was just like, yeah, I don't care. I like this outfit. It can take the energy away. But also if you respond with kindness, I was like, oh, wouldn't that be like kind of a funny thing? Or that could be a fun thing. So if somebody were to say that to you again, you could be like, yeah, I like my outfit. I like yours too. Like, good choice. So just like put it back that way. So I have told them like, that could be a way you can respond when somebody makes fun of you or tries to like bully you for something, that turn it around with kindness, give them a compliment. So takeaways for all people of all ages here to remember: if someone's judging you or teasing you, what matters most is, again, well, do I like what I'm doing? And do I like what I'm wearing? Again, one of my favorite things to remind people of, and of course this is in my book, F the shoulds, do the once, is a judgment can only have power over you if you believe it to be true. So sometimes it hurts when people do say things to us, criticize us. That is the truth. Sometimes it really can hurt. But to then remember like, well, but I like this. I enjoy this. Like for Arrow, sometimes she might not be able to reply as strong as she did. But it could be like, oh, that's hurtful. Like that person said that about me. But wait, but I like this outfit. So yeah, who cares if they don't like it? This is my life. These are my choices. So come back to yourself. Remember that it's likely not about you. If somebody is judging you, saying you're not doing something right, whatever they're throwing at you, it's not usually about them. And see where you can respond with either neutrality or kindness. Throw them back a compliment. Perhaps, who knows how that'll land. Third tip that I give with kids, if you've been around me for a while, I was trying to find my affirmation deck. I have an affirmation deck of 52 cards called Own Your Awesome. This one says what I want wants me, which is a favorite. But a lot of them are I am, right? And so how I really use affirmations in real life is I notice what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling. And so then I can turn it into, what do I want? So if I'm worried about something, if I'm like, I don't know, this isn't going to work out. This is going to, like, I'm trying to create something and something's come over me of doubt, or what are people going to think? What blah, blah, what if this doesn't work out? So I'm aware of what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling. Oh, this is a worry. This is a fear. I'm telling myself this. What do I want to? And then I ask myself, what do I want to tell myself? What do I want to believe? I want to believe that I am worthy of trying. I want to believe that this is going to be awesome. I want to believe that no matter what happens, I am loved, whatever the things are. And then so you create your own affirmation for yourself. So I do this with my kids too. And we're at an amusement park and the older kid wants to go on a ride. The younger kid doesn't. It's just me and the two kids. Let's figure this out. Okay, this. And so then and the one's scared. Like, okay, so this is what, say to yourself, I am safe. I am strong. I got this. So she's worried. So then how would you want to feel? You'd want to feel safe. You'd want to feel strong. I want to feel like I got this. So I would have her repeat, I am safe. I am strong. I got this. I also told her, you can keep your eyes closed on the ride. There's this, whatever, give her other tips. But the I am safe. I am strong. I got this ends up being one of the affirmations that we say a lot. And we went on this ride. And it was a ride. It was, by the way, a Harry Potter ride at Universal Studios. And I didn't really know what was going to happen. And there are like these things like flying at you. It's like visual stuff. So it's not real, but it feels real. I was a little scared and surprised. And afterwards I was like, oh, how did you do? And she was like, I was awesome because I was saying, I'm safe. I'm strong. I got this. And it was just such a cool and like sweet thing that she was like, yeah, well, I was fine because I was saying I am safe, I am strong, I got this. So affirmations do work, but of course it's only like part of the work. And for me, the way to get them to work is, like I said, to be tuned into, to let yourself be aware of What am I thinking? What am I feeling? What am I telling myself? I'm telling myself nobody cares about me. I'm telling myself this is never going to work out. I'm telling myself, oh, I'm not, fit enough to wear this out in public. I should look a different way, whatever. And so again, coming to yourself with compassion, not, oh no, how dare I think that about myself? Oh, that's never going to work, blah, blah, blah. And we feel bad about whatever we're thinking and feeling instead of going like, okay, so what is the reality? I'm telling myself this. I am thinking this. What do I want to tell myself? What do I want to believe? Asking yourself that. What do I want to believe? I want to believe that I am worthy of wearing whatever I want, no matter what my body looks like. I am free. Maybe not worthy. Maybe worthy doesn't fit for you. I am free to wear whatever I want. I'm giving myself permission to try if it's something like scary. And in the book, I give all different levels too of affirmations, F the shoulds, do the wants. Because again, like sometimes if you go to like, oh, I'm worried about how I'm going to make money to pay my bills this month. Like that's a legit worry, right? So if you just say, I'm abundant, that might not be the most fitting. If that works for you, that's great. But so it could be something like, I am capable of earning the money that I need. I am trying every day to bring in more income sources. I believe that this is all going to work out. So you have to use an affirmation that doesn't feel so out of reach that you don't even believe it at all. So it has to, and it can be in whatever wording that work for you. Like, I'm a badass and I fucking got this. Might be an affirmation works for you. Affirmation that works for you could be, I am a goddess and everything flows to me with ease. Neither is right or wrong. It's whatever feels like, okay, that's fitting, and also like zoom, like, it gives you this like, yes, okay, yes, I want to be saying that to myself again, right? Saying an affirmation that might be a beautiful affirmation, but if it doesn't fit for you, it's not really going to be helpful. And then you can use that when you start to swirl into the doubt, fears, worries, oh, this isn't going to work. What do I want to tell myself? It can be as short or as long. It can use whatever words work for you, but use it. I am safe. I am strong. I got this. Okay. So those were 3 tips. I now want to talk about some things that I've started to do with them that I think is another great practice you can do with kids, family members, friends, loved ones, or yourself. So what I noticed is a lot of times on the car rides, even to school, which we do not live far from school. So these short car rides, they would start picking on each, like whatever. Their energy is all intense. Maybe it's after school or this. I want to do this, so this person wants to do this, whatever. Energy. Ugh. Oh, I'm trying to drive and I'm like, ugh. So especially when they're arguing, fighting about something, I pull this out and I'll just say, all right, I want to hear at least 3 things that you love about the other person, And today, on the first day of summer camp, they were happy. They were not fighting. But then they're used to it that Arrow was like, I want to say what we love about each other. And I was like, yeah, let's do that. And then also what you love about yourself. So this is something I do to have them, so they'll name a few things. I'll say at least 3. They usually end up saying more than that. But if you say like at least 3, then it gets them to like, okay, what can I say? So they acknowledge each other or what they love about each other. And then they have to acknowledge, what do I love about myself? So I love that I'm kind. I love that I'm creative. I love that I'm a good friend. And again, this is stuff I've been doing for decades now and in the work that I do. And it feels so great to be starting it with them this young, to be able to have them acknowledge themselves, acknowledge other people too, especially like I said, this is usually when they're getting on each other's nerves and they're upset with each other. Then it's like, whoop, let's take a reframe here. We sometimes will do like name what you're grateful for too, like name at least 5 gratefuls. Again, this is another thing I'll pull out more when I'm like at my wit's end about something. Like, stop fighting. Let's name 5 gratefuls. Like, we're not getting out of the car until you name 5 gratefuls. But it's really then getting into the practice of acknowledging themselves. So that's always something you can do for yourself. And again, maybe it's in the same thing when you're like on your way somewhere or you're stressed out about something. When you're having a at your wind's end moment, think, what are 3 things I can acknowledge myself for? And there is always something to acknowledge yourself. Even if you're like, oh my gosh, what happened to this week? I didn't get anything done. It's June and I still haven't attacked my goals and this and blah, blah, blah. We're so good at being hard on ourselves, but that doesn't usually motivate us to do the things. So, right, if you're like, I can't even believe I haven't done this and I haven't done this and I haven't done this and I haven't done this. So you're getting upset with yourself, but that usually is not going to launch. Sometimes you can get so pissed off at yourself, it will launch you into like, all right, I'm sick of my own bullshit. I'm going to attack this from a different place. But more so, I find when we're loving towards ourselves, I didn't get those things done. Wow, it's June and I didn't do any of those goals I wanted. I can't believe I still haven't even organized this. I thought this was my year of blah, 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 and it's not. Okay. Whew. What can I acknowledge myself for? Oh, I've been a great friend. I've been an amazing mother. I've put my mental and physical health first. And then you might have a actual see like, that's why those things didn't happen because I was prioritizing those things and those weren't wrong. Okay. And I still want to do those things. So how can I make it more possible for me to show up for those things I want to do? That again, right? So you're coming to yourself with this more love, compassion, understanding, empowerment. There is always something that you can acknowledge yourself for. And also that's part of my daily connection journal, which is almost sold out. You know, most of my products are going away for now. Maybe some will be back. I am going to offer some more print on demand styles. And I'm also going to start offering digital. So my daily connection journal, I'm going to start offering as a digital download too. But one of the things on the digital download is I acknowledge myself for. That's on the bottom of every day. And then another one is celebrating daily wins or joys. So maybe you can't think, like a small win could even be like, I drank water today. My kids actually ate my cooking. I got outside for, 5 minutes. I responded to 1 email. So celebrating the small wins and or joys. I had a dance party today. These small things matter, and acknowledging yourself really does make a difference. And you don't have to have like achieved a ton in that day to be able to acknowledge yourself. I acknowledge myself for being a good friend. I acknowledge myself for getting through another day. I acknowledge myself for giving myself space to laugh. So get into that regular practice of acknowledging yourself. And if you have, again, you can do this with loved ones. You can do this with a roommate. You can do this with your partner. Hey, what's 3 things that you love about me? What's something you can acknowledge me for? I think that's also a great point of connection. And the last thing that I want to share, that this is something in back when I did the I Call Bullshit series, which if you're on YouTube or not on YouTube, there's a whole series of I Call Bullshit videos. And one was I Call Bullshit on all the apologizing. And so shared some different ways. So often we're like, oh, sorry for doing this. Sorry for this. Like for many of us, it can be an unconscious thing. I used to say I'm sorry about every freaking thing. So one way to get out of that is to, again, saying thank you. Thank you for understanding. Last week I had to cancel so many things, and I just said, blah, 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 canceling this. Thanks for understanding. Not, I'm so sorry. I can't blah, 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 this. So also with my kids, there's a lot of mom this, mom, can you do this? Mom. And I'm getting better at like, okay, yes. And yes, thank you for asking permission. And yes, you can do it yourself. Yes, go do the thing. So what I also then say for my kids when they're like yelling for something and I'm like, I'm going to the bathroom or like whatever, when they are like, where are you? Why aren't you doing the thing right away? Then I say, thanks for being patient. Thank you for being patient. So instead of like, I'm sorry, but also I think it's more so I wouldn't be apologizing to them. Like, thank you for being patient, or switching thank you is a great swap out for if you are about to say sorry to someone for something. I think also with my kids, I would just be like frazzled by like, stop yelling for me. Just give me a couple minutes. so I can go to the bathroom before I respond to you and like whatever. And so again, it would more come from the frazzleness instead of being like, what? I responded to you. I was yelling what? I was going to the bathroom. Just give me a few minutes. That again, it normally would come from out of the frazzleness. It doesn't feel good for me to be coming from that frazzleness. So then just be going, hi, I was going to the bathroom. Thank you for being patient. What is it? What do you need? So swapping out when you're coming from this an intense energy and then coming from, oh, thanks for being patient. Oh, thanks for this. And but it also works great for swapping out for the sorries. So I hope some of those tips of things that I have been paying attention to, sharing with them, opening their eyes up to, help you. Another big one I just thought of that wasn't in my notes, but I do this all the time. I really, really, really am big of like, what would that feel like for you? You know, so like putting them in the other kid's place. Like, oh, we're at a birthday party and, you know, somebody's upset because they didn't get this or they didn't get enough candy from the piñata or whatever. Can you share with them? Well, no, I got this. Well, honey, think about how you would feel if you were if this out was you and you didn't get that much. So it's like letting it be their choice, but always put it, well, how would that feel for you? Just think about that. Oh, you don't want to, that person, you don't want to share that. You don't want to give that person a turn, whatever the thing is. What would that feel like for you if you were the one that wasn't getting a turn, or if you went to your friend's house and they didn't then let you play with all their toys? So I don't know if that one's more of a turnaround for adults or if it's just been helpful for me with my kids. Yeah, I don't know. Most of these tips I've been trying to give you ones that I give tips for kids, but I think all people can use them. I think that does. How would that feel for others can help us, but maybe not. Maybe that's more of a one to like, take that with you if you're not already using it for your kids. And I always, again, try to come from the like, do this, whatever. It's the energy that I'm talking with them, which I don't always. I sometimes need to take some breaths and go ground myself to then be like, hey, well, how will that feel like to try to come from this calm, grounded energy and not like, you need to do this. You're wrong because you're acting like this. Do it this way. Just, hey, well, how would that feel? But there is a whole lot of, how would that feel? How does that feel when I'm talking to my kids? And I hope that that really installs something in them, because I feel like a lot of adults, we have not been tied into paying attention to our feelings, but we're more driven by how things should look, how our lives should look to others, what success should look like, what does being enough look like, what does being fulfilled look like, which is, of course, why the podcast is named Claim It. Because I feel like if you can actually tune into what does success feel like? What does fulfillment feel like? What does joy feel like for me? And starting to tune into that, then you can actually claim those things right now today, and not once I have this, do this, look like this, can afford this, blah, 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 blah. So I hope that these tips were helpful for you. Hit subscribe, follow, leave a review. If you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Make sure to join my From the Heart membership, my Substack. We have live meetups every month. There's going to be one this week that the episode is coming out. I believe it's on Wednesday. Or no, I don't know. You'll get the details, but it's we meet up monthly for like a mini workshop. And there's also audio and written From the Heart messages that come out to you 3 to 5 times a week, guided audio affirmation sessions. You can write into Ask Trisha to get support. It's a really, really great space. More stuff to come from me soon. I was supposed to be launching something major last week, but life showed up and I had to cancel all the things. And I do believe it's all working out. So big... more, I'm not going to say big stuff, awesome stuff to come that I'm really excited about. And, I am here for you. I do have space for a couple more coaching clients. If you are someone who is ready to really get out of your own way, show up for what you want, and have deep support to hold your vision so that you really are showing up to your work and your life from a space of joy, ease, and fulfillment, and not shoulds, hit me up.